Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins. We're going to have to look at basically Bitcoin and Ethereum and the Bitcoin dominance chart really to work out what the hell is going on. So yesterday we started this dump, didn't we? And today we're continuing with the dump. So what I was saying yesterday, just very briefly, because I suppose it doesn't really matter anymore, is that if we break down and close below this trend line here, which used to be the resistance, which flipped to support, which was about 53,000, yeah, thereabouts. Breaking down below there is when we start to get concerned. The 10 exponential would and should generally offer a little bit of support, but it's far too aggressive for that at the moment. So now we're really hoping that we stay above the centre of this Bollinger Band, and even if we don't, it's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things. People are still calling on the 2018 crash, right? It's not like that. You'd know that it was, you would know, because it would feel like a crash, because essentially you would be down 50% in a day, you'd be up another 50%, then you'd be down again. It's not performing in the same way. This is just this is Bitcoin. You know, I don't know how long you lot and generally people have been in the market for. This is what happens, right? This is perfectly normal. It's a 20% retracement. This could even go further for me, to be honest with you. From the very top, let's measure it from the very top down to this green 50 exponential, perhaps maybe 30% retracement. That's no problem. We did that over here, didn't we? We did that over here, and it wasn't a big problem for us back then, was it? It was okay. There was a 31% retracement down to the green 50 exponential. Picked up a few times, curled up, and on our way again. So personally, I'm not concerned particularly at this point anyway. And even if we start closing below here, you know, that would imply a further downside, sideways and down, but not a bear market. Just another consolidation like this one. And I don't even think it would last that long. But, you know, there's pain, obviously, for people, and I get that. There's pain for me. You know, I take profits on the way up, but I always keep plenty riding. You know, I'd probably say at this point now, there's over 50% of my portfolio has still been riding. But bear in mind, most of my portfolio was bought right down here. So to get shaken out, which is what these are, shakeouts, it's not really for me. I'm not prepared to have any emotional knee-jerk reaction. The question is, you've got to ask yourself, you know, obviously we look at our portfolio every day and it goes up and oh, that's good. Oh my god, that's good. It's not realised profit until it's taken as profit. And what's your target? Are you targeting certain figures? Are you targeting certain time frames? You know, are you playing a cycle or are you playing a move? You know, and for me, I'm generally you know, in at such low levels across the board that this would be a shakeout if I decided to sell on an emotional reaction to this. This is why you sell on the way up, and then when you get it to when you see a breakdown like this one, and you know, for me, I'd like a further breakdown as well. That way, I can the profit that I've made on the way up, I can start buying back in on the way back up again. And it sounds counterproductive, but it's the best and safest way to play it. Anyway, I'll save all that sort of stuff for a different video. What I'm trying to put across there is that I'm not concerned about this at all, because we saw these moves here. We've seen these moves. We used to see these moves all the time. I suppose people who are relatively new to the market probably aren't used to seeing these kind of moves, but Bitcoin's always been pretty volatile, and that's why we like it. That's why we trade it. Same with altcoins. They just accentuate that volatility. So look at this. This is 2018 into 19, right? So the bottom formed, and then we started a bull rally. Okay, that was a nice move. 10% down almost immediately after that big move. We could go through Bitcoin's history all day. A massive parabolic run all the way up to the top here, and then a massive crash down 17% basically in a couple of days. We thought that was over, and we continued up, and big move up, and a further crash down 18%, and then a big parabolic top, which is basically this is a bear market within a bull cycle. So bear market within a bull cycle. All right. Since last year, we've basically been going up the entire time, right? It's not really had much let up. Neither has, you know, a lot of these altcoins really. They've all been significantly up for almost an entire year. So corrections are a perfectly normal and healthy part of this, and what we're looking at now is to see, you know, how far is this going to go down. Well, for Bitcoin, I could imagine it coming down further, definitely. On the daily, it looks like it wants to still come down further, but you know, bounces are going to be, as you can see, bounces are already taking place on this, and there's no sell signal from the last itchy cloud conversion baseline cross that we had. That is still in play. that is still in play. Not got anything to suggest otherwise. So this is a big move, this is a pullback, and then I would imagine, probably to continue on the way up, right? It's a sale. It's a sale. Right, hang on. Right, so let's turn our attention to, well, actually, should we just have a look at the weekly to see how that's looking? Perfectly fine. I know that sounds strange. It's looking perfectly fine. If we continue with this move down, where would you be looking to go down to? 41, 42, 40 exactly. Probably that again that's not the end of the world, right? This is how the weekly has performed, right? In this bull market, we've raised our candle bodies outside of the Bollinger Band, surfing on the outside in zero gravity out here, where normally we'd be brought back in. Occasionally, and this is a rare occasion here, we got brought back in, and where did we end up? Coming down to the 7 simple and the 10 exponential, and then just moving back up again into zero gravity. So if we end up doing that again, then these are the targets around here, lowest term targets. If these break down, then we will talk about significant further pullbacks and maybe how we can sort of make money shorting and setting up I suppose bearish bots and things like that. But for the moment, I'm not concerned about it. Not concerned about it at all. So let's move over to Ethereum. So Ethereum is definitely looking a lot weaker, and something I've always said is that what we need to make sure is that this Ichimoku conversion baseline cross, this super signal that we've got for a super trend, isn't negated. And the only way that would be, it would be if this touches price action, or if this blue and this red, which you can have a look at the blue, there it is, like you can see it there, cross. And what that would signify would be a period of cooling off and correction, which could bring us down, I suppose, significantly in a way. It's not a sell signal in itself. Well, I mean, technically it is. It's a signal to say, let's get out of Ethereum for now. We'll wait for another bullish signal. We've not got that yet, but it does look like it's going to happen now, and that wouldn't be good for altcoins in general, because Ethereum is propping up the altcoin market. Doesn't mean that all altcoins will fail. You can trade an altcoin like a stock, basically. If things happen within that blockchain that is very positive and bullish, then obviously things will transfer into the price. But generally, when we talk about market cap, when we're talking about Bitcoin dominance, we do need Ethereum to be relatively healthy, because it's one of the top cap coins with a significant portion of the market cap. So if that starts to go down, then this will go down, and the transference of this, well, I say going down, this will go up, but the value of majority altcoins will go down, at least against Bitcoin. They might still go up in value against the dollar, but Bitcoin is likely to increase in value at a faster rate. So that's not happened yet, but it looks like it will. And does this mean that it's the end? No, it means it's the end of this trend, which has been going on since the positive cross, which from what I can see is here, right? So when we trade these moves, we trade them until we see the cross to say get out of the trade. It's not said that yet. I mean, we could bounce and go to the moon. Doesn't really look like it, but I trade the cross, and when we get the cross, then I would get out of the trade, and then I would wait for the next trade, similar to the one that we saw with Bitcoin not that long ago. This is how we play the cross. So we have conversion baseline cross, which would have been down here somewhere, and then we trade it all the way up until we got to here, and then we get out of the trade around here. This is where it says get out of the trade, but then it told us to get back in the trade again. That's fine. You can never get the absolute top, nor can you ever get the absolute bottom, but you can get in at relatively safe areas and out of relatively safe areas using just this cross, and obviously the Chiku span and the cloud. And anyway, I've got tutorials on the Patreon about how to use it, and I will use it every time. If we have a perfect setup, then I will trade it until we get a perfect exit, and that perfect exit never gets the top. So Ethereum does look like it wants to make that negative cross, but then we have to talk about where we're going to come down to as a result of that. Let's have a look at the weekly. So the weekly has already bounced essentially from the 10 exponential moving average. This would be a problem if we break down from here. If we broke down from the 10 exponential moving average on the weekly, we would likely come down to the 20 moving average, the center of the Bollinger Band on the weekly, and then probably perform a serious and decent bounce from that level. But for the moment, everything's okay. We've not had that negative cross, and it's looking all right. And actually, if we go back to the daily, the RSI is significantly oversold. Let's have a look at the last time we had a read like this one, all the way back here in November, and that was that November. No, it's March, wasn't it? It was March. That was the March crash. The last time we had a read down there of that level, and look what happened there. We basically bounced all the way up to the top. Now, the RSI is just one little component to the overall trend and all the other signals and indicators that I would use, but it is an interesting one all the same. It is quite a low read. It's not the lowest read it's ever had, but it's a read to suggest that if we are going to bounce, there should be a bounce here. Doesn't mean it'll be a bounce and a recovery, but it should be a decent bounce, and we've already seen that there is a decent bounce taking place now. That's not a perfect measurement, about 10%. No one's going to catch the bottom of that, and no one's going to get out of the top. The idea is to try and make the most out of the signals that you've got and balance your risk appropriately. So just for clarity, I've got quite a lot still riding. I've got my portfolio is down significantly, but I've also on the way up. I have been taking profits, but I'd probably say I've got more than 50% of my overall portfolio is still riding, and the rest is in tether. And I'm not buying back at these levels yet. There's nothing for me to suggest that this is exactly where to buy in. There's been a few things I've been buying in. I've been buying a bit of Ocean, a bit of SXP, but personally, looking at the state of Ethereum right now, I just want to see how Ethereum reacts before I actually start buying in a little bit more. But again, I don't want people to do. I don't like really speaking about entry points and exit points for me personally, or showing longs and leverage and all these. I mean, I've shown everybody my bots because that was a bit of a bot journey, and I didn't expect it to become to the size that it went to. I didn't expect that. So in that sense, it was something I wasn't expecting to see, but I don't think it's really appropriate for everybody to see everybody's trades and things like that. But just so you know, I do have quite a lot riding at the moment, which means that I've been kicked in the face quite hard here, which is fine, and I'm trying to think about things, without thinking about my portfolio balance and things like that. Just trying to think about, what's realistic here. And at the moment, we don't have a get out signal on Ethereum, which means that altcoins should still bounce from this level, but a recovery to where it came from isn't likely to be seen for probably quite a little while. So take that for what it is. That's my interpretation of the chart at the moment. But like I say, even with Ethereum, we've not had that signal to say get out of this trade. The trade essentially isn't over yet. Might be over tomorrow, or by the end of the week it'll be over, but for the moment it's not saying that it is. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and join me on the live stream tonight. Take it easy.